This video is brought to you by Bellamy Transport. If you're in and around Dar es Salaam, think about giving us a call. Now back to the video. Shalom, people, shalom. Thank you for tuning into my channel, Ready for Africa with Los. And on this channel, I give you the perspective of what it's like to come to Africa from a first-hand perspective of someone that has never been outside of the United States, never been anywhere. Just one day we got up, packed our bags, moved, and landed here in East Africa. Tanzania, Dar es Salaam to be exact. On this video today, what I want to do is talk about my process of how it actually happened. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, or at least in a video somewhere, but today I just want to give a little bit more details on how my journey went. And the reason I'm doing this is because when I talk to people, it seems like I get the perspective that they think that, it was easy. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of change that needed to happen. The Most High had to work on us mentally, spiritually, physically, all of that. And people will say, look at my journey and say, oh man, like it was easy, but it wasn't. It was difficult. It was a lot of work. A lot of work that I've never even talked about. So let's just get into it. So when I came into the knowledge that I had to leave, that I was supposed to leave Babylon, America. And I still believe that to today. The scripture tells us to leave, it tells us to flee, it tells us that several times. Flee Babylon, so that you won't be partakers in the plagues. And so I was fasting 1 week, and then it just opened up. There it is. Now, I've heard people say this before, but I did not believe it. But then when the Most High opened my eyes to it, there it was. I couldn't deny it. And so now the plan is, how do you leave? How do I get out of the U.S.? I have no money, work a pretty good job. My wife, she was pretty, we were okay. But how do I leave a place I've been to all my life? Grew up there, in the U.S., raised there, had children there, some family members died there. How do you do that? How do you get the courage to go somewhere that you've never been, and you don't know anyone? How do you do that? Well, I tell you, you trust the Most High. And people say, well, he ain't tell me to leave, he ain't tell me to believe. Well, if you read the scriptures, he did. Not only did he wasn't just talking to me. If it's written in that book, those scriptures are talking to you, those scriptures are talking to me. And so I saw that. We needed to leave. And I didn't know how, and I didn't know when. I knew that I needed to do it though. And if you look at what's going on in the U.S. currently, there's people over here that did not leave because of what the scripture said. They left because of what they see. They can see the destruction coming. It's like the destruction is like right outside the corner, and it's almost like you can smell it. But some people can't. They think that the Most High is going to protect you where you're at. And that would be possible in most cases if he didn't tell you to leave. Now, if you're a disobedient child and you stay, will he protect you or not? That's not for me to say. But my main thing is I wanted to be obedient to the scriptures. And so once we got there, we supposed to leave. So we trying to figure out how we're going to leave. Yahuwah, how we going to leave? How we going to leave? And it just came to us one day, sell your house. So we did that. It was hard work. It was a lot of work, a lot of selling of stuff, a lot. It's a lot. And, preparing a house that you've been in for 11 years, we've accumulated a lot of stuff. And so getting rid of that stuff, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get rid of this stuff? And it just worked. It was just one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. And that's how we were able to get rid of a lot of our stuff. So my daughter comes by with her whatever this is. But anyway, there was a lot of work, and it should have been easy. We would think it would have been easy just to sell your house. But even in that, we had to deal with some racism in that, and not complaining. It's just part of it. It's just part of the American culture, the racist culture. And so we dealt with some of that even with our real estate agent. At times we were wondering whose side she was on, whose team was she, who was she trying to help the most, us or the people buying a house. But, I'm not going to complain about it. That's just part of it. We know as people, we have to deal with more stuff because of who we are. And we have to know who our enemy is. And so, yeah, we dealt with a lot with the lady. Moving, we had, when we left, we had 20 bags. After we sold our home, we had 20 suitcases, 20 bags total. We had duffel bags and suitcases, 20 of them. And so it was just a lot. It was a lot. And moving all that stuff, how do you do that? We got a U-Haul, and we rented a U-Haul. The U-Haul didn't have air to Texarkana, and no air. No air. My wife's air went out in a car. So it was just rough. And you going through these things, and this is the middle of the summer. You're going through these things, and you get these thoughts in your head. Is the Most High in this? That was just the devil planting thoughts. Is this the will of the Most High that we do this? Why is it so hard? But if you think about it, when our ancestors left Egypt, they left walking. Every day they walked. Every day they walked. So leaving America, it's hard. It's hard, but you got to have the mindset to do so. Now, even in that, the Most High moved, because I could see him moving. I could see him working things out for us. Even over here, he has taken care of us. We did our research, and you come over here and they let you know that, hey, these people are not going to hire you for a job. Okay, so we came to a place where we wasn't going to be able to get a job. But even in that, the Most High still took care of us, and he's still taking care of us. And so I just wanted to say some of these things. I'm not going into too many details, but it was rough and it was difficult, but it's well worth it. Well worth it. I feel like I'm in a good spot, because I was obedient. And I just want to encourage anybody out there that's thinking about leaving America. First, seek the Most High. Seek him first. Then to start moving. Not necessarily move, start doing stuff. Start preparing, I should say. A better word, start preparing to leave. And once you do that, once you start delivering yourself, as Zechariah 2:7 says, then he'll start opening up the doors. And don't let fear and what other people are telling you, other people's perception of you, or perception of the idea of you being obedient, deter you. Because at the end of the day, this is an individual walk for those that are walking with the Most High. And the scripture says that only a remnant will be saved. So if only a remnant will be saved, you can't look at what the masses are doing. I have to ask myself, ask the Most High, what are the remnants doing? Not what the crowd is doing. So that's my testimony for the day. That's what I have for you. It's been a few days since I posted, but been kind of busy, getting this rest. That's all I have for you. Shalom. Peace. If you would, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and let me know, do you think moving to Africa is easy? I'd love to hear your comments.